Fantasy Philosophers is brought to you by fantasy-info.com.
Rashard Mendenhall may have been an afterthought coming into draft day last season, as in his rookie season in 2008, he broke his shoulder and missed almost all the season because of it. But if you read between the lines with Pittsburgh, Willie Parker was having a lot of problems not only in production the last couple of years, but also with health. As you know, early in the season, he sustained a turf toe injury, and that hampered Willie Parker as he missed a few games around, I want to say week 3 of the season. And that really was the game that helped Rashard Mendenhall break out, and he never looked back as he went out against the Chargers and had himself a really good day, had multiple touchdowns, and just put it all together. And that was the first time that we had really seen Rashard step up and be the kind of player that he was drafted to be in the first round of the season before. Just before that week, just the week before, Rashard had been held out of even suiting up in the game earlier week 2 because of problems that he was having in practice, not getting things done. And that really was a wake-up call for him. And again, he stepped up in that game, and he didn't look back. He kept the starting job pretty much the rest of the way. He started 12 games last season. He ran for over 1,100 yards. He had a 4.6 yard per carry, 7 rushing touchdowns, and he even threw in an extra touchdown catching the football. This offseason, it's been wide open that the Steelers are looking to run the ball a lot more this year. They want to get back to hard-nosed defense, run the ball first, because they got a little bit too willy-nilly with throwing the ball last year. They didn't make the playoffs, and that's really just not Steeler football. Rashard Mendenhall was looking to get a good amount of work coming into this season, even before all the stuff that went down with Roethlisberger and some of these issues that he's had, and now he's suspended up 4 to 6 weeks. And Mendenhall, he is primed now to be the guy in the offense. The big question that we have to know now coming into this season. Right now, let me start by saying, right now, Mendenhall really is clearly a top 15 fantasy option, clearly. There's no doubt in my mind, probably a top 12 fantasy option, no doubt in my mind. The issue that we have to see with Rashard, and this was the big problem I would say that he still had last year, was in short yardage duty. He failed, and really, the offensive line failed, because remember, they were kind of retooling, rebuilding on the line there the last couple of years. And so they really weren't winning at the point of attack when you get to those short yardage situations that you have to pick up that yard or two to get that first down, or even hammer in a touchdown at the goal line. They were having a lot of problems, and he didn't, really run hard at that particular point of attack. Because of that, right now, the job for the goal line opportunities is still wide open in the team. I fully expect Rashard Mendenhall to win that job because, clearly he has the talent to be the guy. He's got the size, he's got the strength to be that kind of guy. And as we saw when he got benched, in week 2, he comes back, he responds against the Chargers and has that big day. He's the type of guy that can respond to a challenge. And I look at this situation for him, he's going to get a lot of opportunities, and he's shown that he can respond when challenged. And so I would expect him to win that job this year, and that's going to bump his fantasy value up. I see no reason why by the end of this season he very well may be a top 10 fantasy producer, and he's probably going to creep into the first round of drafts as we get closer, if he does, in fact, if it's made clear and known before we get into August that he has won the job, in fact, and that's going to be the situation. As far as being the main starter, he's going to win that job as long as he's healthy. He's the guy. You look at maybe a Jonathan Dwyer. They picked him up really cheap in the draft, around the 6th round, I want to say. He was a guy that was projected to be probably a 2nd or 3rd round pick, and because of a couple of different reasons, he fell back. He's a good little runner, but I think he's just more of a compliment guy, and he's not necessarily a guy who can just hammer in touchdowns and things like that. I think Rashard, again, is better suited physically to do those type of things. But keep your eye on that as we're going through the summer. We'll have different articles up as we get rolling, so, be sure to check back on Rashard Mendenhall's player page that we have, or even maybe the Steelers home team page that we have on fantasy-info.com to check out and see what the updates are as we get closer to draft day.
For more fantasy football information, go to fantasy-info.com and sign up for our free e-newsletter. Good luck in your 2010 Fantasy Football League. As an added bonus, the Fantasy Info guys will include their 5 secret tips for success in fantasy football.